What is going on, everybody? It is Tuesday, March 10th. This is the Start Your Studs Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm Drew Fusco. As always, here with John Granado and Zach Bastian.
We're alive.
26. We made it.
Who has woken me?
Yeah, we made it back. There's a ton to catch up on. Lots of offseason. It is basically free agency week. 3 days, hot and heavy. Monday was insane. So we're going to cover a lot of stuff for you guys. And then we're going to tease a little transition. We're going to basically jump right into dynasty type stuff, combine, prospects, rookies, all of that good stuff coming next week. But first off, let's catch up on what happened last month. Now, the Seahawks, your Super Bowl champions, basically hand it to the New England Patriots. Wasn't much of a game. The biggest takeaway from the game, Zach, go.
That I'm a big idiot because in the preseason I said that the Seattle defense was overrated. So yeah, I'm gonna take my L there. Also, we did say that Ken Walker is the man, and Ken Walker got Super Bowl MVP, even though the kicker deserved it. But Seattle was just so dominant this year. It's just the writing was on the wall going into like week 10. It was very evident who was the best team in the league, and they just finished it out.
Yeah, it was not much of a game. The Drake May truthers, like myself, will say that it probably was not his fault. The O-line just stood absolutely no chance. In his defense, he's battling some injuries, but yeah, it wasn't really a contest. But yeah, go Ken Walker. We'll talk about him a little bit later too. John, give me your thoughts on the Patriots moving forward after a Super Bowl loss like this. Was it a good loss? Was it a bad loss? How do you think the Pats fans should be feeling?
I mean, good. You got another quarterback. Kind of unfair. It took you, only a few years to find the next, franchise quarterback. So, I mean, they've got a solid defense. They got to add some legitimate pass catchers, though. I think they got away with some kind of bland offense. They had a very, very easy schedule all year. So they're going to have a tougher schedule, obviously, coming off a Super Bowl berth. So picked up Romeo Dobbs, but I don't think that's going to do it. They got Vera Tucker, too, from the Jets, so made some improvements to the O-line as well. But, yeah, they need to make a splash if they want to avoid that, Super Bowl runner-up, hangover.
I think they were just ahead of schedule, to be totally honest.
Yeah, it feels like they're like 2 years early to where they probably should have been. And the schedule probably has a lot to do with that. Maybe we'll see some other team go fourth to first next year. Come on, Saints, you can do it. But who knows? Let's jump into some more offseason news here. It sounds like nobody really petitioned for the tush push to get banned. Ironically, the Eagles didn't win the Super Bowl, and now all of a sudden, tush push, not a big deal. Maybe. Kind of ironic timing there, though. Go ahead.
I was going to say they finally had like a bad year with it. I feel like it wasn't as dominant. So then just the argument against it kind of fell apart because other teams have been doing it on and off too. So it's like you realize that the personnel does kind of matter for that. Like Kelsey was a cheat code in that. So yeah, on to other things for the
line. Yeah, O-line just kind of fell apart. I think that has a lot to do with it. So I don't think it will ever see the dominant tush push like we did, but they'll probably try it to run it back next season.
I'm sure. Some would say Kelsey was even like literally a cheat code for that. But the haters will agree to that. Let's jump right into some player news because over the last 2 days, especially, we have gotten a lot of it. The first thing I want to talk about happened about 30 minutes ago. So the Ravens trade 2 firsts to the Raiders for Max Crosby. Fun fact, the Raiders have never traded one of their firsts for a veteran player. Didn't know that. Granted, they're like a youngish team, right? They've only been around for like 30 years, but they have never actually traded their own first for a veteran. So they traded the 14th overall and the 27th first for Max Crosby. and then they backed out. So it sounds like he didn't pass his physical after being hurt last year. That's the news that I'm reading, at least, is that they're yeah, kind of weird though. I've never heard of a team actually backing out of a trade, but apparently it's something that they can definitely do.
I just like he after they ruled him out for the rest of the season, he was super mad about it, and then was taking videos of him dunking and playing basketball. So like I don't know what this could possibly be because clearly he wasn't hurt when they ruled him out.
Yeah, he was like super pissed that they sat him for the last game of the season, even though it didn't matter. And I I don't know. This is strange. I haven't really. This is unprecedented. So I'll be curious to see what happens over the next couple of hours or days, I guess, to see if maybe that trade gets put through somewhere. Maybe he ends up somewhere else.
I mean, can you really go back to Las Vegas at this point? Like that's really awkward. Hey, we finally gave up and traded you because we're bad. Actually, no, we can't trade you. Come back. I mean, do the Raiders have to Raider and like say, hey, whoever now gives us a first and a second can have them? Like,
I didn't
I
realize,
don't know.
Cowboys,
I didn't
let's
realize
go!
the
Lit-
Ravens held the Uno reverse card.
literally between a rock and a hard place, but that's where the Raiders exist, like their entire existence. So it's not
Yeah.
surprising whatsoever.
Yeah, the Cowboys made some splashes on the defense though over the last couple of days.
Sean
Let's
Gary.
Yeah, Rashawn Gary was a big pickup. I'm not going to touch on all of the defensive plays, or I'm sorry, the defensive free agency stuff. This is a fantasy show. We're going to stick to the fantasy relevant stuff, but lots and lots and lots of defensive moves. Some good, including the Rams trading 2 firsts for McDuffie, um, and then made him the highest paid DB in the league. So the Rams, I will say, are like the one team that tend to, like, whatever they needed the last year, they just address it like right away during free agency or during the draft. They lost Aaron Donald a couple years ago, went right ahead and drafted Jared Verse, like one of the top DEs in that draft. McDuffie was obviously like a huge get for them after needing DB help this year too. So I give it to them. They definitely go after their needs. Let's go on to another trade that happened. DJ Moore being sent to the Bills for basically a second. There's some other stuff in there, but DJ Moore gets to go rejoin Joe Brady from his Carolina days. First reaction is I think this personally good for both teams. I think it's a good trade for the Bills. They need like that veteran, just leader presence in the locker room, especially at wide receiver, pass catcher. Always good for Josh Allen, and good for the Bears. I mean, you get a second for not like a washed player, but he's definitely not in his prime still. And you've got 2 young, good wide receivers to kind of step into that role right away. Plus Colston Loveland, who everybody likes. So I think it's a great trade for both teams. John, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it was clear DJ Moore was going to be out sooner than later with how well the rookies performed for the Bears. I just thought, like, initially when there was kind of floating that he was getting traded, I figured like a fourth, maybe a third. So to be able to get a second round pick back for DJ Moore at what he's going to be 28 years old going into next year, I mean, that's really solid business considering what the Bears have to put in, to replace him. And for the Bills, I mean, they haven't had a legitimate wide receiver one since they let Stephon Diggs walk. So they've needed that sorely. They wanted Dalton Kincaid to kind of step in and be that guy, and he just hasn't been able to, kind of inconsistency and injuries. Khalil Shakir is a cool kind of slot type receiver, but he can't handle wide receiver one volume. So I think this will be a really good. I mean, the Bills' offense will get even better. Now the question will just be, can they finally get over the hump this year, or what will be the reason they run into this time when they don't? So
It's a big overpay, I think.
I thought so for sure. I mean, like I said, I would have anticipated a fourth, maybe a third. But
What did Pittman go for? A 6-7 swap? I mean, that's
Yeah, we'll get to that one too. But yeah, Michael Pittman got traded for a 6-7 swap. Yeah, I mean, do you think DJ Moore is a downgrade from Michael Pittman? You think Pittman would have been better in that system? Maybe.
I don't know. I just I believe Pittman is younger, or maybe they're of similar age. I don't. I just think a second to a 6'7" swap is a wild jump for. I mean, two guys that are solid receivers.
For sure. No, that's a good point. A second, maybe an overpay. I'll be curious to see what happens now. Obviously they didn't believe in the draft class very highly, which apparently it is a deep wide receiver class. I think it's really top heavy personally. We'll get into some of that next week. But like, obviously they didn't feel that second was going to be a better player than what DJ Moore is currently. And maybe it's just like an all-in move. I don't know if that's the move I would have made for all in, maybe like AJ Brown. If you're willing to give up a higher pick like that.
Yeah, if you were going to do a push all the chips in type move, like there's an AJ Brown out there, or you could have sprung for Brian Thomas. Like DJ Moore's a great player, but he's not the kind of guy that I think about as like, if I'm going to push all the chips in for a Super Bowl, this is going to be my acquisition. Like, no, that's But I mean, good on the Bills. I mean, I have been yelling on our group chat since Monday about how the Commanders are doing absolutely nothing to get a pass catcher. So I guess as a Bills fan, you can at least take comfort in the fact that your, front office is trying. So there's that.
It made a move. Yeah, it's good. Let's talk about some other guys here. George Pickens, Kyle Pitts, and Breece Hall all got franchise tagged. That was all pretty much to be expected, I believe. Zach not super happy with the Pickens.
No, I'm cool with the Pickens thing.
Okay.
Yeah, if it's free Breece, it's like the poor guy is just destined to be a Jet until he dies.
Yeah, they're like the bully kid that stuffs the younger kid into the locker and doesn't let him out. That's just Breece, and they're like trying to get out of this locker that's full of, I don't know, poop. And it just stinks.
It's that disgruntled kid at the playground who gets knocked off the court and says, "I'm taking my ball and going home. That's it." You want the shiny toy? Nope, this is ours.
And home is the Jets.
Yeah, we're keeping this toy.
Home is the
It'd be a lot cooler literally anywhere
family.
else, but we're keeping it.
Home is just the abusive family that he doesn't want to actually be with.
Oh, God. All right, next topic. Here we go.
Hold on, kids. Sorry.
Anyways, Daniel Jones got the transition tag, which is different than the franchise tag. It is a little bit less expensive for the team. For those of you that don't really understand, at least my very mundane understanding of this is that the franchise tag is more expensive, but like gives sole rights to the team. And the transition tag basically says like, you can sought after a deal and bring us an offer sheet and we have the opportunity to match it. So that's why it's a little less expensive, at least from my understanding. And then he just went ahead and signed a new long-term deal today. So Daniel Jones is going to be a Colt. What that looks like in week 1, I don't know. Maybe he'll be ready. Maybe he won't. Maybe we'll see Anthony Richardson. I don't know. Will be interesting though. We'll get to some of the wide receivers here in just a minute. David Montgomery got traded to the Texans for a 4th, a 7th, and then an offensive lineman. Another fun fact, the Texans have traded 4 firsts and a 2nd round offensive lineman in the last 4 years. So 5 total offensive linemen have been dealt, all of them 1st and 2nd round draft picks at one point. Pretty weird for a team who pretty obviously also needs offensive linemen. To each of their own.
I mean, to see CJ Stroud have the rookie year he did, and then just say, we're going to respond to that by gradually just trading away the O-line that made that possible for you, but then not really replaced it with anything. Like, when they traded away Tunsil, it was like, okay, surely they must have a plan elsewhere. And they didn't. They signed a swing tackle to replace him, and it's like, I mean, you gotta, I was saying in our group chat initially, like, they gotta take at least a few shots in the draft. I mean, it's a decent depth draft in terms of O-linemen, but they got to take a few shots at least. I mean, it's not going to get any better than what we saw at the end of last season if they keep trying to go, this route of just patchwork offensive line.
Yeah, it'll be the draft, I think, is going to tell us a lot. We'll see in about a month. Travis Kelce is returning for his 14th season in the league. Yeah, he got paid like $12 million to come back for a single year. Um, I guess that's what, like a luxury tax for being Travis Kelsey. Um,
It's a
kind of a
loyalty contract.
Yeah, it's a lot for a guy who's played 13 seasons so far. We've talked a lot about this in our group chats, but what are the Cards going to do at quarterback? They're just going to roll Jacoby Brissett. Yeah, I he was what, like 1-9 last year as a starter. Yeah, sure, we think that'll work. Good for Michael Wilson owners in Dynasty. I mean, especially if they kind of let him do what he did last year and just let it rip. I mean, let the dude throw for 5,000 yards and 45 picks. Who cares? Um, just sling it.
Who did
Good
they
for the pass
hire?
catchers.
Who did they hire as their OC?
LaFleur is their head coach.
Oh yeah. See, I think it's going to be much improved. I think we're going to get something better than we had last year.
You think so?
Yeah, I
think
just Petzing going to he went to Detroit, I believe. I think that was the best thing that could have possibly happened for the Cardinals.
Yeah, they hired Nate Hackett.
That true, but LaFleur is also their head coach. So
I think it's going to be more run centric than people think. People are going to anticipate like the 2025 Cardinals right out of the gate, and I feel like there's going to be a desire to not do that because that's not very, sustainable winning football. So, I feel like you can only go down from like how fantastic that whole, scenario was from like a garbage, like literally the Cardinals were playing 3.5 quarters of garbage time football every single game. And Jacoby Brissett was just putting up points. And it's like, for fantasy, fantastic. But from obviously from a real world NFL perspective, like the team would prefer to not do that anymore. Maybe you only get 2 quarters of garbage time. We'll see. But I would anticipate they're going to at least try to run the football. That's why they picked up Tyler Algier. They didn't cut James Conner. They renegotiated his contract. So they got 2 bigger backs to kind of carry the running game. So I don't want to say avoid Cardinals, but don't draft them anticipating you're going to get, 2025 down the stretch Michael Wilson again, in my opinion.
I'm very excited to see where he ends up after mock season.
Michael Wilson?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to
be above or below Marvin Harrison. First take.
Oh,
that's a good question.
That's a great question.
I feel like regardless of what happens, wherever Marv ends up, I'm going to have way too much Marv because he's going to be like in the, 6th, 7th round with how bad he played last year. And yeah, I'm not going to be able to avoid it. I'm calling it right now. I'm going to have him probably my most rostered player in redraft.
I probably won't.
Probably won't do that.
Yeah, probably won't.
But I think they're going to be similarly placed because you're going to have guys like Johnny, and then you're going to have people who just are going off of what they saw last year. Everyone could just be disappointed. I don't know.
Yeah, it's one of those like
I would watch.
Maybe one of the bigger question marks because like you said last year, there was no run game to speak of. You lost Trey Benson, you lost James Conner. Now you have like 2 workhorse style backs, like 2 big bodied boys back there running the football. I would also assume that they're going to be more run centered. That is like if they can actually run the football with the O-line. So it'll be interesting to see. I do think with 2 guys back there who can handle for full game workloads, we'll see them tote the rock a lot.
Let's do they grab a guy in the draft?
I was going to say quarterback. Maybe. I feel like they're going to draft a quarterback. They might be like that
Taylor Green or something.
You're talking about quarterback or running back?
No, Taylor Green's the
quarterback
Arkansas.
Oh,
I didn't hear it. Yeah. Oh, that would be fantastic.
Freak athlete, but they can have him from like a actual quarterback standpoint. A lot of people are saying that he should just transition. But they told Lamar the same thing, and then he won.
He said no.
MVPs. Yeah. Let's jump into some free agency. I have a feeling we will spend some time on this. The first one, Alec Pierce re-signs with the Colts for $116 million over 4 years. This makes him a top 10 highest paid wide receiver in the NFL.
That's insane. What are the Colts doing?
He was
That's
going to get
wild.
more elsewhere. Supposedly, he turned down more money. I think they said in Las Vegas and somewhere else had more money
Yeah,
on the
let's
table.
think about that. Las Vegas offered him a lot of money. Let's think about that one.
That's a good point. Hey, we'd love to sign you. Who has offers on the table for you? Well, Las Vegas. Oh, thank you. Thank you so
It's
much.
enough.
Yeah.
Good luck elsewhere, buddy.
Yeah, with
Yeah.
Michael
I mean,
Pittman getting traded to Pittsburgh, he also signed a new deal with Pittsburgh. This one I struggle with. When he had the football last year, very good player, no doubt. But I think over the course of his career, he's averaging like less than 3 catches a game. And then dude just got an absolute bag. Like, kids, go learn how to play wide receiver.
And
His
run
bag-
fast straight down the field. Do that,
I mean-
you're going to be good.
Like, yeah, apparently you don't have to actually be a top 10 talent at the position to get paid like you are. So, yeah, why does soccer suck in America? This is why. This is literally the reason. Alec Pierce, probably a phenomenal soccer player, gets paid $116 million over 4 years to go be a mediocre wide receiver in the NFL. Sure. That's all I have to say about that. No, fantasy point of view, still kind of sketchy. We don't know what the quarterback situation is going to be to start the year. Does Daniel Jones come back like as a person who was pretty mobile in his day? And is he the same quarterback, or is he the limping statue that we saw at the end of the season before Phillip Rivers took over? A little worrisome still for that whole pass catching group.
I'm going to anticipate they're going to draft a wide receiver fairly early because Alec Pierce plays his role very well. He's a good field stretcher, but is he ready to step into that Pittman role? I don't know. I mean, I feel like they're going to try it because how much money they paid him, but I feel like they're going to add an interesting wide receiver in the draft. That'd be my prediction. So I think I would have to anticipate Alec Pierce is going to start going in like the top 18 wide receivers once we get to redraft, and I'm going to be out at that point.
Yeah, give me Marv.
The tough part is like you don't have a first because you traded it for Sauce Gardner. It's like with it being such a top heavy wide receiver draft, I don't know if there's anybody really down there. Maybe what's his name in Boston?
There's some
He's
bigger
like
wide receivers that I think could theoretically. There's some bigger wide receivers that I think they could get later on, but yeah, I can't imagine they leave the wide receiver room as is. Like Josh Downs, everybody loves to talk up Josh Downs. Oh my God, he's so good, the efficiency, but the team just doesn't want him to play like a higher volume role. They love him in just that slot role. So I can't imagine they're going to leave things as is and say to Josh Downs, all right, you're going to be starting in 2 wides now. I do not see that happening.
I hope they just move Tyler Warren to the outside. just throw him the football. I will blitz through a couple of these because they don't have like huge impacts. Olamide Zacchaeus, he re-signed with Atlanta. He's like a super solid 3. The Bucks re-signed Cade Otton. Good for Cade. I was really hoping they were going to make a bigger splash at tight end, at least. Maybe going after someone like Kyle Pitts would have been good for them, but we know how those interdivisional stuff goes. Even Isaiah Likely would have been, I think, a really good buck, but he did sign with the Giants 3 years for $40 million. How do you feel? How do you guys feel about that signing with Theo Johnson there already?
I like it a lot better without Theo Johnson. I mean, it's so this is kind of touching on a segment that we kind of kiboshed, but it's a Greg Roman offense. And we know Greg Roman loves to utilize the tight ends, even 2 of them. I don't know. I think they're going to kind of cancel each other out because I think we're going to see kind of likely be it's kind of like Sharp and Ken Walker. You got a 20-20 guy, and then you got a red zone guy. I think that's kind of what we're going to see.
Yeah, Theo showed promise 100%, so I can't imagine that he's just going to fade out of the picture. So, yeah, unfortunate because I've been saying, I mean, Isaiah Likely was one of the guys I thought for sure would go to the Commanders for an offense that so kind of centers things around the tight end. how heavily involved Zach Ertz was as a 35-year-old. But to the Giants he goes, and yeah, I mean, I don't know, feels kind of gross. I think likely will fall like into the top 18 tight ends, and depending how things play out, he could easily play himself into the tight end one status, but probably kind of takes him out of like my guys that I would target in that range.
Yeah, the only thing that leans me towards liking it, at least for fantasy, is like typically the money talks. Like they gave him $40 million. Uh, I would assume that he's going to just step right into that tight end one role, but Theo definitely is one of those athletic guys that is going to be tough to keep off the field, especially in the red zone. So
Theo is also Dart's best friend. Like,
yeah, until
I mean,
Isaiah
that was a
Likely
whole
starts
narrative.
to
Yeah, I know, but Theo's not bad. That's the thing. It's
no,
like
he's not. But
I don't know. I
he's not
don't.
getting
They're
paid.
two very similar guys.
Yeah, what I think it really hurts, honestly, is the run game. Like neither guy is really a blocker. Um, we've talked about this a lot, and the more I research it, the more I think that Love probably ends up being a Giant, just based off of the moves that have happened.
I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, which I think is an awful mistake. We've talked about that a little bit too. I don't think anybody without an offensive line needs to take any high end running back. It's just not worth it. We saw it with Genty last year. I mean, you see it even with the decline of the Eagles' offensive line and Saquon. We just see it too often where teams reach thinking they need a running back that's going to make a difference, but they don't have that infrastructure to like support a good running back and let them do what they need to do. So
I know we're kind of getting into next week here, but Jeremiah Love is out of the top 10. They're going Spencer Fano, and
I think it'd be smart for him for sure.
I think that's Harbaugh is not going to let them take another running back.
Yeah, I don't know. I think
we'll see.
I do think he's too good
Saquon
to go that late.
They took Saquon when they shouldn't have.
Yeah, but Harbaugh wasn't there. Harbaugh is
right.
True. Well,
let's get into.
We'll just be sitting there hoping.
So there were like, in my opinion, 4 like really big deals. Let's talk about the first one. The Dolphins signed Malik Willis, 3 years for $70 million, $68 million. Sorry. And reports are he turned down an offer from the Jets for $30 million a year, which would have been like $3 or $4 million more dollars. But he said it would be career suicide. Good on you, bro. Go ask Brees. Brees must have called and been like, "Bro, don't come. They will trap you,
it, dude."
Hey, bro, low key, do not.
He's like, "Yo, full disclosure, don't do it."
Run.
My first instinct on this is I really wish he would have went somewhere else, somewhere with just a little more structure around him. I think he's got really good players around him. Devon Achane, obviously one of the better backs in football. Jalen Waddle, a good wide receiver. He's not like top tier. He's not a 1, and that's really what I worry about with Malik Willis is the lack of experience, and they don't really have like who is the go-to pass catcher. And it's Waddle, but is he a 1 in the NFL, or is he better as like that roll speed crosser, let someone else take the coverage and let him run his 4-2 up the field? I worry a little bit, obviously for fantasy, like the dude is going to be elite. I think he averages like 40 yards a game rushing. So give me all that in fantasy. I just wonder if this is more like we paid $99 million to get rid of Tua. We need to bring someone in that's going to make a splash. But is he like a bridge, you guys think? Or like, do you think that he's the long-term option?
This is a play at Arch.
I can see it. I mean, because this
realistically,
Geno
you could trade Malik Willis. More of a play.
It's fair, but it's just like they wanted to get someone that would be capable of doing anything because they still have Achane and they can't piss Waddle off too much. This was like their attempt at saying, "Look, we got something," but is it really something? I don't know with the pieces around him. I think Malik Willis could be good on a good team. I just don't know if the Dolphins are going to be able to. This might be a play to early first round quarterback next year.
And I would
Yeah,
say
that's a lot of
too, I
money.
mean, it looks like it's going to be a really bad Dolphins team. So you run the risk of, if we get to the trade deadline, the Dolphins were entertaining Waddle offers, and they had a first round pick offer from the Bills, I think it was, on the table. So if they start the season horribly, they could decide to go fire sale. Achan could be off the board. I mean, he's a smaller back. If you're going rebuild, why are you going to pay long term to keep him around? Jalen Waddle, he's 26 or 27 at this point, so it would make sense to trade him away. So, worst case scenario with Malik Willis, you could get a solid start to his year with that rushing, but then when it comes to the trade deadline, the Dolphins could just throw the cards in, and all of a sudden he's throwing to Greg Dulcich and Malik Washington as his top wide receivers, and you're like, oh god.
Theo Weiss Jr.
Yes, Theo, absolutely.
Yeah,
Lest I
it's just a
forget,
weird.
Theo Weiss Jr.
It's a little strange. I would assume
It
that
doesn't make sense.
they attack wide receiver in the draft. They have their first round pick, right?
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
So maybe that's where they go. maybe they take someone like Carnell Tate, Jordan Tyson, one of those guys. Tate probably won't be there by the time they pick, but it'll be
Might.
Tyson probably will be. Lemon also, all three very good. And would be good opposite Waddle. So maybe that's like the whole plan. Still another team that was very weirdly like, yeah, we're going to stay away from pass catchers this offseason. Moving on here, let's talk about the next big move that got me real excited because Ken Walker went to the Kansas City Chiefs. Your Super Bowl MVP leaves the Seahawks. I think that's the first time ever. If I had to go back and look, I would probably bet on that a Super Bowl MVP leaves the team in the first offseason. But what an exciting match. I think we all really hoped Brees would go. This is like next best option. At least in my opinion, you get a guy who's just explosive. He can take the ball to the house from anywhere, catch the ball. In an offense that we all, every single year, get excited about someone joining this team. I think this is more exciting than the Worthy draft. Like, this should be really good. And then they got rid of Pacheco on top of it. So we're gonna get to see Ken Walker on a good team with a full workload. I'll be right back.
As long as Kareem Hunt doesn't start playing Charbonnet, then
yeah, I don't know that I don't think you pay Ken Walker what they paid him to bring him in to like split the load.
It's not even splitting. He's going to get most of the usage. It's just when they get to the 4, here comes big old plotter Ken Walker. Kareem Hunt to just run forward and hope for the best.
Could be.
And I like that they didn't. I mean, they might address this in the draft or like free agency after the draft, but they didn't add another clear like pass catching back. And I feel like that was Pacheco's kryptonite. That there was always a pass catching back there, just kind of stealing that work from him.
What's his name?
Brashard Smith.
Yeah, Brashard Smith.
Has he really proved himself to the point where he's going to see the field a ton?
As a pass catcher, I think he was all right. I don't think he's ever going to be a guy, and I think that's why they went and got Ken Walker.
Yeah, like I don't see him as like, oh man, Ken Walker's going to lose snaps to this guy. Like he wasn't able to break into a pretty mid rotation all year. So maybe the Chiefs do make another addition, but for right now, I feel like Ken's not in danger like Pacheco was for so many years of losing that pass catching work and losing that goal line work to a guy like Kareem Hunt. Wheels up 100%. He's in the top 12 running backs. Another guy that me and Zach were a year too early on, which, at least we've identified. Yeah, we've just identified that trend. I feel like I don't want to say that Ken is going to get too overpriced, but I mean, where's his ceiling in terms of where he's going to go in redraft? It's hard to know, right? So if he starts creeping into the first round, that gets a little scary for me. So we have a ways to go, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think he'll be like a back of the first round, top of the second round guy. Kareem Hunt is a free agent, by the way.
Oh,
has not.
If he could just
nice,
just retire. So it's been a good career.
Yeah, Brashard Smith probably a sneaky pick if they don't address it. I would expect they probably address in the draft. But yeah, Ken Walker.
They have defensive issues, guys. I'm not sure that we're actually going to see a.
You think they might
valuable
need
running
DB?
back?
You think
they might need a lot of things on defensive It sounds like they're from all reports. It sounds like Kansas City feels like they're back. So I don't know.
They need to address offensive line. The defense got older, and they subtracted another guy from that defense. I mean, they're going to be a playoff team, obviously, and they're in Super Bowl contention with Mahomes back there, but it does kind of feel like a lot of things are falling apart for them to pay so much money for a running back. But, I mean, they went into the offseason saying they wanted to get more explosive in the run game, which 100% makes sense because they were just, applauding, 3.5 yards a carry with, the Kareem Hunt-Pacheco tandem. So this should make things a lot more explosive for them on the ground. But, yeah, I'm with Zach. It feels like there's a lot of things kind of trending down for the Chiefs that people are just kind of ignoring because, Kenneth Walker, shiny toy, and they have the number 9 pick in the draft. So will they go another shiny toy at wide receiver, or will they go the prudent route, and grab another? I mean, there's so many defensive linemen in this draft. I feel like that's the way they should go, but there's going to be that kind of temptation to, get another shiny toy for Pat Mahomes to play with. Especially since Rasheed, who knows what's happening with that dude.
Here's what I think it gets overlooked a little bit. We all think about paying too much for a running back. I think it's a little different than like overdrafting. I don't know if you can right now overpay for a running back. I was looking at previous contracts, and so Ken Walker signed for like $14 million a year. Everybody was like, "Oh man, that's so much." Well, Todd Gurley in like 2018 signed for like $14 million a year. So when you think about the difference in like the cap hit of each team and the salary cap, right now the cap is at $301 million. That's up like 20% from 2018, but the running backs don't cost any more. So like you're actually like, I kind of feel like you're getting a discount because the salary cap is higher, but running backs aren't costing anymore. But quarterbacks kind of are, and that's really like the whole reason behind it. And of course, guys like freaking Alec Pierce getting $120 million a year or for 4 years. So I don't know. I don't know if that's really like an overpay or not.
It's just a move that a team that is ready to go makes. Like the Eagles getting Saquon, like that makes sense. I think they think they're better than they actually are.
Yeah, we'll see what they look like at full strength next year. If Rice comes back and is ever able to play football again. Travis Kelce is obviously a step slower, but you get Ken Walker, which probably takes a little pressure off of Kelce. So I don't know. Well, that'll be interesting to kind of see where everybody falls in line with Ken Walker. Let's go on to the next big signing. In my opinion, the Saints, thank God, went and signed Travis Etienne, 4 years, $52 million. I personally love this. I don't really love the contract. I think it's a lot. I don't know where we found the money at all. They're robbing Peter to pay Paul still. But you bring in someone with like...
You moved Taysom's void years to 2055 and 2056.
Yeah, we're still
congratulations,
Drew Brees. Like Drew Brees is they're gonna have a Drew Brees day next. Just the day he gets that. What is that baseball player that gets paid once a year?
Yeah, from the Mets.
You know who I'm talking about?
Yeah.
They're gonna have like a Drew Brees day going forward. It's just the day he collects like 1.5 million from the Saints.
Except they have 30 guys that cash checks at that point.
It's like
it's a $40 million cap hit just all the days they have to celebrate every year.
There's like 3
Marquise
guys
Colston, Devery Henderson, come on down. Jimmy Graham.
Reggie Bush is still getting paid somewhere. They took his Heisman, but they can't take his check. Anyways, I like the pick. It's basically getting like a younger version of Kamara, which this move does make me think Kamara gets moved at some point this year, especially if they start slow. But to get someone back there who finally has a little juice. I know a lot of people probably hate the landing spot for fantasy. It's not ideal for fantasy, but I love the fact that I can look at my team's offense and see Tyler Shuck, who I think everybody's really high on, Chris Olave, everybody's really high on, Travis Etienne. Even Juwan Johnson, everybody likes. They just signed Noah Fant. Some exciting pieces on that Saints offense, though. I don't know if it's going to move the needle for fantasy, though. He probably kind of sticks right around where he is. What this move does do, Johnny, is potentially give Bayshaw Tootin an opportunity in Jacksonville. Maybe. I think they probably also address something in the draft. Maybe a free agent of some sort. But yeah, Liam Cohen's offense, Bayshaw Tootin could be good. I mean, you're voiding a lot of runs from ETN from last year with nobody else to
and
take
receptions.
So like you've got LaKeith Allen back there. I think you'll probably see a lot of him pass catching role if they don't bring anybody else in, and then Bayshaw will kind of get the rushing opportunities. So
I mean, Rashad White is still sitting there who would reunite with Liam Cohen. That's like the one guy left that's kind of scary for Tootin, but yeah, 100%. You said his name, LaKeith Allen. I feel like if they end up standing pat and just kind of drafting another running back, I think LaKeith Allen will be a really nice, I don't even know if he'll get drafted, to be honest with you, but he was seeing the field a ton as a rookie, solid pass protector. He can catch passes. I think his senior year, did he play all 4 years at Syracuse? I don't know. But his last year in college, he led the NCAA in receptions and receiving yards as a running back. So there's definitely some sneaky PPR value there. But Tootin, man, I mean, it's exciting. He's going to get a shot at it, I feel like. It's happening, and it's fantastic.
I have a quick update, completely off topic.
Tell us.
It looks like looks like the Ravens backed out due to Max Crosby failing his physical as we expected, but even more importantly, it looks like the Cowboys are not expected to re-engage in trade talks.
Yeah, he probably still ends up a Raven when it's all said and done. I don't know what he failed, but I would assume they don't just drop that deal off the table.
Hopefully not a drug test.
I mean,
have you seen that dude smoke a cigar though? That dude like straight up ghosting him with a cigar. That dude has smoked more than cigars in his day, for sure.
Oh, 100%.
Oh, we're all well aware.
I mean, my goodness.
Let's be mindful of the children. Must I remind?
What children?
But that's super awkward. Like I said earlier, if you're the Raiders, do you just bring Crosby back and be like, sorry, man, you got to play for us? No. That's an embarrassing way to look at it. But then the other side
gets moved.
Yeah, but the embarrassment of like, okay, now you have to go into the market and say, just kidding, guys, we'll take a first and a second.
Well, who's doing that when he failed it depends what he failed. It's like...
Yeah. I mean, I feel like a team could say,
the drug test,
that's okay,
probably.
we'll take him anyway. I'm sure there's
drug
a team
test
out there
was really just the part of the physical that he failed.
Yeah. There's some sinister plot going on here.
Sir, did you know that cigar had the devil's lettuce in it?
My God. The devil's lettuce. Tell me you're a white dad without telling me.
Excuse me, sir. Did you know that there is marijuana in here? And he's like, yeah, I did. Send me back to Vegas.
Going back to Las Vegas?
Yeah. He's like, my blackjack table's got my name on it.
What a mess.
We touched a little bit.
I would say.
At this point, there's no chance he actually plays for Vegas. We touched a little bit on the Cardinals signing Tyler Algier, 2 years, $12 million. I think it's a good fit for both. I think he's a really good player, personally. And I'm just glad to see him gone and let Bijan.
I would have loved to see him. I'm sure we're going to get into this a little down the line, but I would have loved to see him go to Detroit. That would have been perfect.
I'm glad he didn't, though.
Yeah, I am too, but it would have been NFL moves. That would have been perfect.
Yeah, Kenny Gainwell signed with the Bucks on a 2-year deal. Another good player. What does that do for Bucky, though? That's kind of the question.
Handcuff.
Because Kenny, the problem is Gainwell's a much, much better player than Rashad White was. And last year just gives me the ick about Bucky a little bit. I don't fully believe it was just injury stuff. Like, I think there's got to be some tension there between the team and the way that he was brought back. I mean, he was literally splitting with like Sean Tucker, Rashad White. Like they were just handing the ball off to whoever would take it. I It just felt weird to me, when you've got a talented player like Bucky, and they were in the playoff race still. Like it wasn't they were just, let's see what the other guys got. Let's not get Bucky any more hurt. Maybe they thought they were going to make the playoffs.
I think that was it was a more of a combination of the offensive line was very dinged up for the Bucks last year, and they may have rushed Bucky back because they were still in the playoff run, and I don't think he was necessarily ready to go.
Could
Or
be.
at least like 80%. I don't think he was at 100. But I mean, this is what happens when you lose your offensive play caller who just specializes in making running backs look great. I mean, there's a lot of things in Tampa Bay right now that have question marks.
I think you got to remember too that Bucky, in his huge rookie season, he handled still under 50% of the total touches out of the Buccaneers' backfield. So he made his bones just being an explosive player, but he was also scoring a bunch of touchdowns. And last year, when he came back from that injury, I'm sure part of it was trying to avoid further injury, but Sean Tucker was taking all of the goal line work from him towards the end of the year, which was brutal. And then, of course, Rashad White was around taking all that passing down work. So if you're handling under 50% of total touches and you're losing out on pass catching opportunities and goal line, that becomes a situation where you really need to be explosive with your touches. And I think year 3 of Bucky, I mean, we know the NFL takes a toll on running backs, it takes a toll on everybody. So he's an undersized back. So you do have to wonder, like, is he going to keep slowing down to the point where he's not going to continue to be crazy effective with the limited touches? Because with Gainwell there, I mean, it's pretty clear that the Bucks have a plan to do something similar. Giving him maybe half the touches. I think for me, what to watch for, will they add another bigger back? They had Sean Tucker around as the bigger back. He's still on free agency, so he might come back. Who knows? But if they add another power back, then you can sit there and say, oh crap, he's going to start losing goal line again. And then you feel like you're going to get a continuation of what we saw at the end of 2025. It'll be interesting to see where Bucky lands, because he's obviously not going to go, I think he was going like the back end of the first almost, or like top of the second in redraft this past year. So he's going to drop, but just the question is how much, because he's still a talented player, but there are a lot of question marks that you feel like are going to carry into 2026. So kind of one where I want to see the ADP before I make a decision on how much of Bucky I want on my rosters in 2026.
I'm just here for Buka.
Buka.
Yeah, I guess we can jump right into I think we can jump right into Mike Evans signing with the 49ers. Love this move for the 49ers. I love it for the Saints. I love it for Mike Evans. I don't love it for Ricky Pearsall. But I don't hate it for him either. Like, I think we saw that he can be the dude, but I think he's better off not having to be. I think having Mike Evans there to pull some coverage, I think benefits him for sure. But yeah, your Bucks are going to be interesting, no doubt. Big deal, Mike Evans leaving.
You guys hear what he said?
After everybody thought he was going to be a lifer, that he hated Todd Bowles and then he just wanted to get out.
No, he said that he wanted to kind of like clear room for the young guys, and he didn't want to be holding up that spot, and he wanted the young guys to shine, and it's not enough room for him anymore. I love it for both teams because the Bucks have some really exciting guys. Like, we didn't see a lot of Jalen McMillan last year, but the year before he was incredible. And then they added Buka. I mean, I love it for both sides here.
What's the little guy's name from Oregon that they drafted?
Tez Johnson.
Yeah. So super intriguing wide receiver room for the Bucks. Yeah, Buka's going to get. I feel like he's going to creep up into like the how much do I really value him territory, but 100% the guys 3rd and 4th on that depth chart, for sure guys to look at later in drafts for redraft. And in Dynasty, grab those guys because there's obviously a ton of yards and targets that were just opened up. So one of these guys that no one's really talking about right now, I think are going to play themselves into a fantasy relevant role. So it'll be interesting to see. Pretty cool.
Yeah, some young talent over there. I hope they all sprain their ankles. Personally, as a Saints fan,
Incredible.
Wow.
just sprain.
Not Drew hoping for injury.
Just sprain.
That's crazy.
No, I'm just kidding. We don't wish anybody to get hurt.
Nope.
Non-bias.
I'm gonna watch back to make sure you don't edit that out because you said just a bit
Non-bias.
ago that you don't edit things out. So
Non-bias. Okay. Tua Tagovailoa signed with the Falcons. Sure. Okay.
They have the lefties.
Got it. Just we need the ball to spin the same way whether we're practicing or not. So it's wow. First off, the Dolphins paid $99 million to let him walk. And then he goes to a team that paid $100 million for a veteran, Kirk Cousins, just to turn and draft a first-round quarterback in Michael Penix. Yeah, I said it again. And now to go and sign a washed-away Dolphin and Tua. I don't know what to make of this.
Free Bijan.
Yeah, do you think that this is like a Tua's going to get an opportunity right away? I mean, I know Penix was hurt. I don't know what his timeline looks like to come back. Really good for Bijan because he's going to get all kinds of dump offs. Give him the A-chain treatment. But man, just a weird signing.
2 quarterbacks that can't run, so 100% Bijan. But saw reports that it's going to be an open competition in camp between Tua and Mike Penix, which, I mean, come on. Like, if you're going to pick a veteran quarterback to sign to challenge Mike Penix to see if he's really the guy, I feel like there were several other better options out there to accomplish that goal. But I mean, it wouldn't be the craziest thing an NFL team has done for them to say, hey, well, we got to pick the lefty because, we can't have a lefty and a righty competing. That'd be unfair to our pass catchers, So
the Lions brought back Teddy Bridgewater. So there was options out there.
Well, we're talking about like halfway decent organizations in the last few years compared to the Falcons. So
I know.
Yeah. That's the thing.
Yeah,
you have to put on
the
glasses. You have to put on the glasses and remember, like, these guys are ultimately not incredibly smart. Like, they're football lifers, but that doesn't mean that they're smart. They can do really dumb things. So, yeah, I don't know. It sounded the entire offseason like they were behind Mike Penix. They wanted him to be the guy. And all of a sudden you take back that vote of confidence and say, actually, we don't have full confidence in you. Here's Tua Tagovailoa to compete with. And it's like, come on. I mean, I guess the one way it could go well is if Mike Penix is not able to beat out Tua, then you know for sure he's not the guy. Like that's
true.
You better
true.
win this competition or we know that you're out of here. So that's the one kind of devil's advocate good part of it you can pull out of it. But overall, this is a team with a bunch of.
It feels like one of those moves that's like, if it works, this is kind of like the whole drafting Mike Penix thing. Like, if it works, you look like a genius because you brought in a guy that's like, you can give him a resurgence. He's got Kyle Pitts and Drake London and Bijan Robinson on. Like, it's such a good supporting cast that, like, if it works, you look smart for bringing him in. And then if it doesn't, you draft Arch Manning. Like, and then you just get rid of both of them or, whoever next year that comes in.
Dude,
but
don't say that. Arch and Bijan on the same team. I'm going to have to be an Atlanta fan.
I mean,
it's kind of like, it's like the Jets situation.
It's just that thing.
It's like the Jets with Garrett Wilson. You say, oh man, I have Garrett Wilson. Like the Jets are going to be really bad. They're going to get a good quarterback. And then the Jets just find a way not to. You hope that the Falcons,
Jets,
if they are bad, if you're holding Drake London and Bijan Bags, like you're hoping that at the very least the Falcons are bad enough where they get in position for a first-round quarterback, which preliminarily it sounds like it'll be a much deeper quarterback class next year. But I don't know. For this year,
non-existent one this year.
We said that last year. Yeah, that this year would be deeper. It's just we might just be kicking it down the road, boys. Quarterbacks are dying out.
I mean,
You know,
there's
here's
literally
the
like
thing though
five
with the
plus guys.
quarterbacks.
Yeah,
The
you can look
quarterbacks
at
though,
five
it's
guys
different.
who were supposed to have first round grades this year at the quarterback position, and then they just totally fell out. So,
Or they went back to
um,
school. You know, NIL's changing
true.
the landscape. Like, you know, the number 2 quarterback in this class, the kid from Oregon, Dante Moore, went back to school. Like, probably a top 5 pick in
He just
this
didn't
year's
want to go to the
draft.
Jets.
Didn't want to go to the Jets. And but that's what NIL is doing is they're, you know, in his opinion, he's probably the number 1 quarterback coming next year without Mendoza. Maybe that's true, maybe it's not. But who gets the number 1 pick? Is it what if it's the Jets next year? Now he's screwed. But
And Arch is
that's
going
the
to hold
tough
out.
part. The tough part is I think for these teams is that though. Like you don't know. There's so many like one hit wonder quarterbacks now. Like look at Mac Jones and Ty Simpson now. These kids who waited their
Both
turn.
from Bama.
Well, yeah, they're just both the same career.
And Tua.
Look at John David Booty.
Don't forget about John Parker
Greg
Wilson.
McElroy.
But both the same career archetypes, right? Like, did you just mute yourself because you're laughing so hard?
I caught him. I caught him with John David Booty.
You did. It's true. But the kids are going back to school, and some of them like come out of nowhere. It would be so hard to be a GM trying to figure out who we're going to look at in the draft next year. Let's move on though. Another decent sized signing. Just kidding. The Pats signed Romeo Dobbs, however you say his last name.
I don't hate that actually.
Man, it's just not the signing that you wanted. Like for Drake May,
No,
he's not a bad player,
dude.
But
look what they did with Mac Hollins. Like this might actually
blown out in
turn
the Super
out.
Bowl. They got blown out in the Super Bowl by
I get it, but like that's. I mean, I am willing at this point to classify Seattle as a super team based off of what we saw the back 10 weeks. I mean, the Pats were ahead of schedule. Didn't really seal, we didn't have KC in the playoffs. Like it was a weird year for the AFC. But this is a veteran wide receiver who is very effective. Never going to be the guy that puts up wide receiver 1 numbers, but he is extremely effective from a NFL standpoint. So this isn't like going to be a guy you rush to go get in fantasy, maybe depending where he falls, but might be a guy that we see the offense relying on, especially in like those 3rd and 6, kind of situations like that where he excels.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know what to think of it until we see it on the field, but it's just not the splash that I was hoping to hear for a pretty needy team. Yeah, we'll see though. I don't hate the player. It was just not the name that I thought I was going to see for the Pats personally.
When you're talking about guys like AJ Brown in that tier, and then you settle for Romeo Dobbs, I mean, it's kind of a letdown. Let's be honest, but he's shown some really solid flashes, and I think there's the question is, can he be good as a full-time, wide receiver? We know the Packers rotate everybody. Christian Watson, wow. He looks fantastic for like a 2-week stretch, and then he fades away, and then Dobbs comes back. Like you could find so much good tape of Dobbs being really good, but then times where he just disappears for like a 3-week stretch. So it just it comes down to, can he become a full-time wide receiver 1? And that's, I mean, he's got tape, but obviously it's just that consistency. So, your personal evaluation of the player has to come in. But I mean, he'll probably be the number 1 wide receiver on that Pats team, but they like to spread the love around. Stephon Diggs had some huge weeks last year, and then similar to what we're talking about with the Packers, he would just disappear for a while. So, is he that much better than Stephon Diggs, where he's going to, build on that role and become more valuable? I don't know. We'll see. I'm not super sold on it. We'll see where his ADP ends up, but it's an interesting signing. But they could have done a lot better, obviously.
Yeah, maybe another wide receiver gets drafted. Another wide receiver on the move. Wan'Dale Robinson goes to Tennessee. Another kind of a
Don't care.
weird move. Yeah, it gives Cam Ward like the NFL version of a Xavier Restrepo. Um, I, is he the best wide receiver on that team though? Probably not. Like I think Kamir DK is the best wide receiver on that team and
I am
the
Minor.
best athlete. Ayamanor,
Don't
another
sleep on
good
Ella.
player.
Don't sleep on Ella.
Um,
Come on.
no, but like I said earlier, like money talks. They paid Wandale like almost $80 million over 4 years, I think. No way he can just walk in and be the one. I mean, he
How
averaged
much did you say his contract was?
like $80 million.
Over how long?
4 years, $78 million.
Okay, so he's making a little about double of Jalen Naylor getting signed to the Raiders. I mean,
Another weird.
That's what you have to
crazy
take into
thing,
account
like-
too. I mean, what Drew said about the salary cap going up so much. It's like what 20 million is now is a lot different than what it was even like 2 years ago. So this is clearly like the Titans signed a guy who they want to be at least like their wide receiver too. But does this signing mean that they want him to like be their featured wide receiver? I don't think so. And like Wandale Robinson has never been that. I think he can be a good safety blanket if the Titans are as bad on the offensive line as they were last year. But yeah, it feels like there's going to be a lot of gross PPR scams going on in Tennessee. Not a lot of real talent and real life football success.
Yeah, good for Cam Ward. Give him like you said, a safety blanket, maybe. Just give him someone who can get open in space. We'll kind of blitz through some of these other guys. Let's see here. Yeah, the Titans also signed Daniel Bellinger. Sure. He played for Dayball when Dayball was in New York.
So
kind of puts
strategy.
a damper on like Gunnar Helm though, and Chig.
I don't think so.
Chig,
yeah.
Chig's different.
I must have missed. Like, did Chig resign or like what happened there?
He's still a free agent, no?
Yeah, I was gonna say, isn't he a free agent?
See, let's take
him and
I was very excited about it.
But I was gonna say it's always a good idea when you hire an offensive coordinator who got fired as a head coach, and then you sign like 3 or 4 of the players that got him fired in New York. I mean, yeah. Bring the broken offense over from New York to Tennessee. Absolutely.
Yeah, Chig is a free agent, by the way. Has not been signed.
See, Daniel Bellinger's not really a pass catcher. He's more of a premier blocker. So I think that's more so to help with the run game. I mean, this might be
maybe.
Please don't.
God, I hope not.
I need you to stop putting.
It's got to be.
Yeah, can you stop saying Love is going to go to Love is going to go to a decent team outside of the top 10. I think. If it's not the Commanders,
that would be impressive for the NFL to allow him to make it outside of the top 10, because I think he's, without getting into next week, a top 2 player in the entire draft from like just a player standpoint.
I would say offensively.
I would say in general, personally. I think when you're looking at like positionally, like definitely the best running back, I think he's the best football player in this draft. Maybe top 2. Maybe I would also put Caleb Downs as probably the best like all around football player in this draft.
There's just far more important positions I think that'll push him back with enough talent to push him back.
Yeah, we say that every year, but a running back still.
Yeah, true. Yeah, that's fair.
I don't think is he better than Genty was last year? Like, do you think that he's a better player than Genty?
I don't. I think they're kind of different.
I kind of think he's a better all-around back than Genty was last year. But yeah, time will tell. I think he's going to be a great NFL player no matter where he goes. Jahan Dotson signs with the Falcons. Doesn't really move the needle for me. Great. We talked about Jalen Naylor, who somehow got $35 million to go to the Raiders.
Great.
He was the wide receiver 3 in Minnesota. If you guys don't know who he was, an interesting re-sign. J.K. Dobbins goes back to the Broncos on a 2-year deal.
That's a big one.
I love that one.
That speaks volumes about RJ Harvey and what they think.
So the rumor is that they're also going to draft a running back.
Yeah, I saw that.
Which means that they are not sold on Harvey whatsoever. Interesting.
Care to insert love to Denver or
nope? Because I don't think he'll make it that far.
I would not
straight up.
If he gets
you never know.
If he gets into the double digits, Sean Payton will 100% dabble with trading for him because they were big into. They really wanted what's his name, Omarion, in last year's draft. Yeah, like they were looking.
They passed on him though.
Running back.
They straight up passed on him.
Yeah,
the Broncos passed on Hampton last year. That's how the Chargers ended up with him. No, because everybody thought
Denver drafted before.
Denver drafted before them, 100%.
Yeah, that's what we're saying.
That's what we just said.
No, you guys are wrong, 100%. You guys carry on talking.
Let's go to another running back. Rico Dowdle goes and signs with Pittsburgh. He takes the Kenny Gainwell role. This is real unfortunate for Jaylen Warren managers. Were you getting abducted by aliens?
No, there's a tornado happening outside.
Oh my!
Sorry.
Just don't lose internet. It's okay.
That would be terrible.
Yeah, Rico Dowdle goes and signs with Pittsburgh. Good move by Pittsburgh.
Sad one.
Yeah,
that's sad, though.
It's weird though because he always said he wanted to go somewhere he was gonna get touches. He must think that he's
that's
much
why
better
it's sad
than Jaylen Warren. Or maybe Pittsburgh straight up told him like, "Hey, you're gonna come in and be the guy," which means
that's
they're
why
push
it's
Jaylen
sad.
Warren to the side.
Because what's his name from Iowa? That just says that he is not it, and that's so sad.
It is sad. Now, of course, I'm having a blank too.
Johnny, what's our boy from Iowa? Why are we blanking?
Caleb Johnson.
Johnson. There you go. Yeah, that just says
he's
that
forgotten.
He's
forgotten about. Forgotten about. We can't even remember his name. It is really sad. Super talented player. I was really high on him last year. I got that one dead wrong, for sure.
We all did.
A lot of people did. So many people. I mean, I have him on so many benches on good dynasty teams, and it's like I'd love to just cut him, but I mean,
you can't cut that guy. You can't cut that guy.
You can't just yet. Yeah,
it's too sad.
Yeah, it's tragic. But I mean, he got straight up outplayed by two backs that were better than him last year, and I think you have to keep in mind with Dowdle that Mike McCarthy was the coach in Dallas when he had his breakout year. What was that, 2 or 3 years ago at this point? So there's some familiarity there with Mike McCarthy. So
yeah, but that's also why we saw them trot out Zeke in statue form. So I don't know.
Also true.
There's a lot of question marks here, but I love Dowdle. He's a great player.
One of the beat reporters said that for starters, Jaylen Warren is probably going to move into the Kenneth Gainwell role, which Kenny Gainwell was the more valuable back out of the two Pittsburgh backs. So he's going to get more pass catching work, it sounds like, with the way things set up. So I think people that are just going to totally tank his value are mistaken. You know, he's going to find value for himself, and he's obviously a very solid back. And he's never been a dude that has ever had like feature back volume. He was opposite Najee and was outplaying him, and then, you know, played very well last year, but had Kenneth Gainwell around. So he can still give you solid value if he's in a timeshare type situation. So you're probably looking at kind of similar to what we saw out of him this year. You know, RB2 value, just leave something to be desired some weeks because he's losing out on a certain amount of touches, but still a valuable player, 100%. And obviously, if Dowdle were to go down with injury, he all of a sudden becomes, you know, a borderline RB1. So the kind of guy that you want to target late, you know, if you're going late round running back.
Yeah, he's a good player. Ooh, big signing for the Cowboys. Sam Howell.
What?
Backup quarterback.
What?
Shut up.
Dak loses his engagement, loses his starting job. TMZ.
Is this wasn't this an MVP runner-up, Sam Howell? Was he not like?
I don't think that's true.
What? Hold on. There's got to be. Hold on.
What in the Max Crosby are you smoking?
He was.
This is not time to look it up.
He was. Nope. Here it is. Yep. Yes, Sam Howell. He was.
Is that the year every quarterback died?
He was the runner-up behind Patrick Mahomes in the 2023 MVP voting mid-season,
Yeah,
not end of year.
Oh, okay, got it.
Get out of here with that.
Got it.
Mid-season, by the way.
Cowboys just getting better and better, baby.
Great season. Tua was also
makes-
fourth in that, by the
what-
way.
What did they trade for Joe Milton? They traded, what, a third for Joe Milton?
Yeah.
That makes that even funnier. And
Hey,
then
let
before
Jerry
that,
cook.
they traded for Trey Lance before that. So Jerry
Thinks we're in season in 2036, 7, 8, 9, 10.
You know what he does know, though? He knows exactly where the sun is.
Yeah.
Almost a year in advance, actually. Through those little windows that blind his players.
All
Trying
right.
to score touchdowns.
So Pacheco went to the Lions.
Moving on.
Yep. Isaiah Pacheco takes on. I hate to say this, and I'm sorry for the kids. I'm giving you a warning, but I saw. You know how we had Sonic and Knuckles last year.
Oh no! Oh no!
They're calling Pacheco Moose Knuckles. they're
Oh
calling him
no!
Sonic and Moose Knuckles.
Oh no! Jahmyr Gibbs wheels up everyone. He should be your 1-1.
Yeah, it's him or Bijan, no, without a doubt.
No, it's
Yeah.
Jahmyr.
Given the quarterback situation in Atlanta, I'm
I
gonna
could be told both.
probably give Gibbs the edge there, 100%.
Probably. I'm trying not to be biased. Gibbs went to Bama. I even said Bijan. So just saying, we're getting better, boys. Either way, you can't go wrong with either one of them. But yeah, better offense, probably. That's true. Yeah, that's free agency in a nutshell. A couple
Wild.
random, like Marcus Mariota stays in Washington. Solid pickup for them.
He should retire there.
Yeah, I mean at this point he's kind of a legend, a Washington legend. He comes in and balls out. But yeah, free agency has been crazy. We've got one more day of it tomorrow. Next week we are going to come at you guys with some dynasty. We're going to do some combine stuff, some draft stuff, look at some rookies. And yeah, we're going to transition right into full-on dynasty mode. We will update the final signings, whatever happens between now and then. But until then, we'll catch you guys next time. Thanks for joining us. Peace.